Morning, everybody. Morning. It's an absolute pleasure to be here today to talk to you about the world's greatest organisation, the Green Lane Association. So I thought I'd give you kind of 10 minutes, 5 minutes about what the organisation does and then open it up to Q&A, because there's just so much. I've been sitting here thinking, what do I talk about? What do I not talk about? The whole green laning thing is a huge field of knowledge. It's only once you started doing it for a while you realise just how complicated it is. Law about roads and lanes in the UK is absolutely arcane. There are enormous books about it. The law goes back hundreds of years. Some of the routes go back hundreds of years. So everything is a bit complicated and in some cases a little bit mad. And I can tell you some glorious stories of people who got away with stuff simply because the law is so difficult. And that's where the Green Lane Association has come in recently. So we're a not-for-profit user group with about almost 6,000 members. And we kind of look after the rights of all kinds of users on the 20,000 unclassified county roads and byways open to all traffic. Many of them, of which are not open to all traffic, but that's another story, in the UK. So we have grown in the last few years, mainly due to the fact we've got a really, really good mapping system called Trailwise 2. I've got it up on my iPad here. And when there's a signal, you can play with it. So basically, that has got information about all the byways in the UK, and so basically a byway and unclassified road are the same thing. They're just looked after by different parts of the council, and they're basically unsurfaced roads, scratchy, gravelly, muddy tracks. And there's 20,000 of them in the UK, and this app has got every one bar 5 or 6 or whatever listed, and members of the Green Lane Association will comment on there. So if you're a new person to green laning and you're not sure whether or not you want to go down this lane because it might destroy your vehicle, or you might never get it back, or come out alive, or there might be a farmer there who's known for shooting people and all this kind of stuff. We laugh, however. This information will be on Trailwise 2, and people love that. And the fact we've got so many members, it's really, really helpful that people put the input in, and you can see the honeypot lanes, you know, the big famous lanes might have 50 comments, others might have 1 or 2 comments, some have got none. So I'm a Surrey, Sussex rep for the Green Lane Association, so kind of it's my job to go around and just check all those lanes, try and put comments on. So there's enough really in this area. If you're not into green laning, there's enough here to keep you going for days. And you could literally get off the boat at Dover, and then there are lanes from Dover pretty much all the way here and then out into Wiltshire, you know, in every direction. There are so many. And green laning is an absolutely fantastic hobby. It is quite expensive if you're going to do it properly. So making the joke about smashing the truck up, there's not a panel, there's not a square inch on my truck or a panel that's not got a dent or scratch on it. I mean, it is quite intense if you do it to the max. But it doesn't have to be like that, and we regularly take people out with non-scratchy vehicles. And although there's always a chance of meeting some kind of bush or whatever, or you know, something might have fallen over in the wind, generally there are routes where you can get through and come out the other side and still be quite shiny. So Green Lane Association has got people from all walks of life. So we've got horse riders who are members. 10% of our membership are disabled, and we're quite big on that. That's been a very important thing for us. I make films as part of my portfolio career of miserable jobs. And one of the things that we've done is make films of people who are disabled or have access issues. And a lot of them say to us, you know, green laning is just my way to access the countryside. Don't want to go to a country park with gravel and all the rest of it and everything's manicured and an ice cream van. I want to get out into the real countryside. And that's what laning does. It gives you the opportunity to go out to places which are you know, the road less travelled, and sometimes the road completely untravelled. You know, some of the lanes, even the popular ones, it's quite unusual to see other people on them. You know, Frensham Common, which is a famous lane where everyone's going, oh, people are destroying the countryside because there's so many vehicles. We did a traffic survey with members in the Green Lane Association a couple of years ago, and one of the guys sat out there for, we did Saturdays, weekends, Saturday, Sunday, morning, afternoon. One of the guys sat there Saturday afternoon, sent me his paperwork back, 26 mountain bikers, 9 horses, 3,000 dog walkers. And I rang him up and said, you've missed off the 4x4 category. He said, well, no, I haven't, because there were none. So the numbers of people who are doing it are actually pretty low. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people who get very upset and very angry about what we do. So another part of the Green Lane Association's work is to counter that. There are quite wealthy and quite empowered people who've made it their life's work to try and get lanes shut. And really, we've got a right to be there. And so the Green Lane Association pressures councils to do the right thing to keep them open. And also, if there are closures which are done legally, we often go to court. So your membership fee of £48 a year, whatever it is, quite a lot of that goes into our fighting fund, because legal cases are desperately expensive. You know, it's 30 grand just to get out of bed for these people. So we fight a lot of legal cases. And recently word has got round amongst the councils that they are active, the Green Lane, because they talk to each other, the Green Lane Association have been doing stuff. And as a result of that, we're finding councils are being a bit more happy to actually talk to us rather than have to go to court, where they normally we do tend to win.
John, just to cut in, I know there's lots of different brands of four-wheel drive, but as we're a Land Rover meet, for any sort of budding green laners here that have never done green laning, that are not a favoured glass, they've got a Land Rover, and they like the idea of green laning. Firstly, what are the benefits of joining Glass?
Benefits of joining Glass are that you are part of a community of like-minded members. So frequently I'll get emails from people saying, I bought a 4x4 and I live in Surrey and you're the rep, and where can I go? So we have those kind of conversations. You get access to the training, the Trailwise website, which gives you all those lanes and information about them. We have a monthly magazine, not monthly, 6 monthly magazine and a monthly bulletin. So you get information regularly. I'll write up what's going on in Surrey, and the other reps do the same. Many of the other reps do the same kind of thing. It's just basically a green laning community where you can talk about stuff, answer questions, or get questions answered. And there's that whole, as I said, the whole access to the countryside thing. There's a big mental health thing. We've written this document, which you can have a look at if you want one. I'd have to charge you because it's quite extensive. It's about inclusive countryside access. Again, talking about how many people who say, without this in my life, without laning, my life would be in a much worse place. And we've all got stories of people who've struggled in life, and then you find a fantastic hobby with friends. And green laning has really meant a lot to so many people. So it's a community thing, really. And also being part of that fighting fund to keep the lanes open, to work against egregious landowners and councils who are a bit cash strapped but just sometimes can't be bothered to do the right thing. It's really it allows us to keep doing what we're doing in terms of laning.
Is there a speed limit to the green lanes generally around here? Saying Sussex,
it's 60 miles an hour. So in order to change the speed limit, they have to go to court, and that costs 20 grand. So generally, speed limits are 60. There are some funny stories. Wolven's Lane in Surrey, which is now shut to vehicles. They got a load of money in, surfaced it. I had a message saying, "Oh, we just realised we made it very smooth, and the speed limit is 60 miles an hour, and there'll be horses and old ladies walking up there on motorbikes." Class, when the hell that's it? Well, don't surface it, and then that's sort of problem. So generally, I rarely get into double figures when I'm laning. Some of the lanes in Wiltshire, you might do 12 miles an hour on a good day because they're long and straight, and the gravel roads the army use and stuff on Spain. But generally, we're crawling around, low range second, that kind of stuff, feet off the pedals, and it's a very slow, relaxed kind of environment. Speed really isn't an issue. Sometimes the motorbikes go bombing through because they can, and that is a problem on the busy lanes round here. We get lots of people. That can be an issue.
Is it also fair to say that although we know that Land Rovers are very capable vehicles, there is still a small percentage of maybe slightly coming unstuck on a green lane, and that actually, if you're not au fait with your vehicle, that it's worth entertaining some training in advance of. And obviously we're blessed to have Gareth here from the Surrey 4x4 Tours and Training, who does that amongst other things.
Yes, I'm actually, for full disclosure, I'm business partner with Gareth. I'm a tour guide and trainer as well as being Glass guy. So yeah, the old maxim is never go alone. Always go with somebody. I mean, there are lanes that you can go alone on, and once you know them, but it's always best to go with somebody. And we regularly get people. You see it on Facebook. There's a Facebook group called Green Lane in UK, which just used to be full of people every day saying, "Oh, I'm stuck in the hole, so and so," and you look up where they are. It's not actually a lane. You're on a footpath. Have a lovely time. So, you still see that occasionally there is a bolt system, right? Well, indeed, yes. So the problem is, of course, if they're on a footpath, and you go and rescue them off that footpath, you're committing the same offence, Section 59 offence, all the rest of it. They kind of basically has to be less to suffer. But yeah, on public roads, on places where you're supposed to be, having people who are around just to be able to help you out, pull you out, that is useful. I mean, there are lanes around here where you could get started, you could break the vehicle, not even very far from here. You know, there's a good level of challenge. Yeah, I kind of love a bit of challenge, a bit of excitement. So there are places you can go and you can do harm to your truck, and also you know, you don't necessarily want your lowered suspension and all that kind of, you know, you shiny trucks. The standard Land Rover will do pretty much everything in this area. There are just a couple of lanes where you really want extra clearance, and decent tyres will help. Although you could argue that if you've got useless tyres, then it makes it more exciting.
That's not
me. Put it on the video.
Stuart, I'm gonna cut in again. Just very briefly. Has anybody got any questions at all? It doesn't matter if there's no such thing as a silly question or even something that's already been spoken about that you want to ask again. So repetition, gratefully accepted. Any questions at all? Blimey, that would mean that you were clear. Oh, there is one. Sorry.
It's not a question. It's just to back up what Stuart said. I've been a member now for about 20 odd years, and I used to do green laning a lot. I don't do as much now, but I still pay my 48 quid a year, mainly for that fighting fund, because they're doing a cracking job of keeping lanes open so that when I do decide to go out on a Sunday afternoon, I can go and drive that green lane. So
Nice.
yeah, it's just to support, back up these guys.
You gonna give him a drink for that? There. Yeah.
So yeah, get signing up.
I thought you needed that.
Come on, Rob. Don't be better. I mean, I was kind of badgered into becoming a Directors Relay Association because I've got loads. I did so much stuff. But it has been an honour to be, because it is such a good organisation. It does really good stuff. It protects our rights. It's kind of doing justice against people who want to take those rights away.
Yeah.
Landowners who just want, for the sake of it, have got loads of money. There's a guy down in Sussex trying to shut a lane, and he's trying to do a DMMO, definitive modification order. It's another obscure like that. Because he's got loads of money, he's created top solicitor. That would probably go through if people weren't gonna, like Glass, weren't gonna compete against it. So hang on, the reality is this. So yeah, it's an organisation that kind of it brings justice to our access to the countryside, and for me that's the main reason that I do it. I want to see the right things done, and also I love laning. So, it's a fantastic thing to do. Sometimes when you're kind of a professional in it, I don't often go out on my own. I normally meet people, and recently I went out on my own. It was just like, this is just so good. You remember what fun it is, a breathing space, take a mate with you, have a chat, and all the rest of it. It's a very therapeutic, very positive thing. Insurance.
Yeah, if you're taking your vehicle on a green lane, it's exactly the same.
Yeah, great question. Because it's a road, 60 mile an hour speed limit. Yeah, exactly the same thing applies. So your vehicle needs to be MOT, taxed, roadworthy condition. You need to be insured, etc., etc. And although you see sometimes insurance companies saying, "Oh, we cover you for green laning," yes, so does everybody, because they're roads. So obviously you're more likely to crowing yourself on a green lane, so you just sort of be aware of that. And also people like the RSC and the AA generally not so happy. In fact, I think, and if your vehicle is absolutely smothered in mud, I think it's kind of in my limited experience of being recovered many times off of lanes, having done myself stupid things. It's down to the guy who comes out, and a lot of them are self-employed drivers, and they're very happy just to get involved. So yeah, you really want to make sure if you're going to break down, you get to the end of the lane and you're on the road. Also, don't know where the mud came from, obviously. So that's again another reason why you should go with a friend. A mate of mine smashed his front swivel up in the middle of Wales and actually gave 20 quid to a 360 excavator driver who was there. They basically dragged it all the way down to the road and left it there. And the AA were kind of persuaded that this is the way it happened. So
amazing. Do you know what, Stuart? Your commitment and the enthusiasm is coming out in waves. It's really lovely and really interesting to listen. Stuart's going to be here for a little while longer, so if anybody wants to have a natter, he's got some paraphernalia to pick up. I think the bottom line here is support Glass. Maybe if you get out only once or twice a year, everybody's lives are different. Support it because it's a great cause, because it's keeping those lanes available so you can use at your leisure. I know we got the same enthusiasm and commitment from Gareth there. as you can see,
Wake up, Gareth, wake up.
Gareth also does some modelling work. But anyway, all jokes aside, for training, off-road, how your vehicle works, tyres, mechanics, everything, they are the guys. They're 10 out of 10. They're 100%. Stuart and Nick, very much indeed for today. Yeah, a real insight. Thank you. Everybody, round of applause. Glass, Stuart. Does he deserve the sticker?
Yeah.